Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Oh, I've got something very different today. And not normally the kind of watch I do, being that it is a digital timepiece, but it is, after all, a piece of history. And one of my friends, Peter, really wanted me to review one of these, so I thought it's got to be done. So here we are. We are talking the Hamilton's classic PRX, which basically, I believe, was a copy of the Pulsar, which was made back in '72, which even featured in a James Bond movie. And these came out in '74. Now, the crazy thing is, if you were to get one of these back in 1974, it was about 2,100 US, which equates roughly to about 9 times the price of a Rolex Submariner back in the day. Oh, how things have changed. But anyway, before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review these pieces. They're absolute stars. They've got some unusual watches and different brands you don't always find in many of the other stores. So if you're in the Midlands area, strongly recommend popping into their Kenilworth branch. If you're a bit further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page. All I ask is that you do mention the channel if you contact them. So anyway, let's talk sizes of these two little beauts. We are talking on this PVD model here, 40.7mm case size, that's across there, a thickness of 13.6, a lug to lug, so I took it from this point to this point of 40mm, and a bracelet size of 24mm. Now this one here, the classic little one, I think it is rather cool. It looks so sci-fi. But anyway, sizes 30.6mm by a thickness of 12.6mm. The lug to lug across here is 39mm, and the bracelet size, well, from what you can say really at this point, is 15.5mm. So let's check out a little bit more. Well, I would say the dial, but let's face it, what dial? So if we come in here, as you can see, if we look at this one first, we have this rather cool, very kind of icy blue display to it. Now, one thing I would say is it's strange. This display can be illuminated, but in its normal configuration, which is this is how it goes all the time, it is incredibly readable in bright lights. When you start to turn the lights off, it starts becoming dimmer, and that's when you need to use this button. Let me show you this one as well in, when we've got all the lights here. And as you can see it ever so clearly. The blue, I would say, is that little bit clearer. But if I turn off a couple of these lights, let's do this here, then you can see here, you can only, you can read the time, but only just. In certain lights, it does disappear. But as you can see, if I start turning to the light there, it is illuminated. Now, if I do the same with this one, it is so crystal clear. These now have an OLED display. But obviously, to get around this, if I press this button here, boom, it illuminates really brightly. Press it again, and you go to the seconds mode. I know, it's full of high-tech features, isn't it? It's just crazy. And then it goes back. I think it stays illuminated for about 4 seconds. This one, though, oh, we have 2 buttons. I know, this is really the hype of technology. If I press this one, illuminates really nice. Press it again, we go to the seconds. Then we can turn it off. If I press this side, the date. I know, these things are absolutely cutting edge technology. It is crazy. So you might ask, actually, how do you actually set the time on these models? Well, I believe on this one, you've got to keep your finger down on there, and the same on this one, and then it sets you through a actual cycle of things. You can obviously set 24-hour time methods on this one as well. So the dial is, I think, is so clear and crisp. It is really nice. The actual crystal on top is a bit bizarre because it really does stick out prominent of the case. I'm not sure why they've done this. Maybe the original was like that, I don't know. It does have a nice bevel to it there, but I would have thought they would have followed the case design, but obviously they didn't. It is a sapphire crystal, as to on this model here. It's a little less pronounced on this one, and I think I prefer it a little less pronounced, but it is sapphire, so it should be okay. When it comes to the actual casework of these, it's just a lovely, if chunky case. You can see the vertical brushwork we have underneath the PVD coating. On this one, it is a horizontal. And I love the way they have the Hamilton written on there, slightly at the angle, looking like it's getting bigger as it comes across. It is a very kind of cool way of doing it. Now, one thing I should mention, both of these watches have 100 meters of water resistance. And so you're not going to have any problems with these. Now, as we start looking around the case, you can see we do have lugs on this one coming off here. And we've got the male portion on there. So it will make aftermarket pieces there a little bit awkward. But one thing you can see, we have got screws in there, which does make it quite easy to sort out and change. Overall, I just think it's a lovely kind of casework to it. The button on here, yeah, it's quite solid. It feels quite good. Yeah, it does look the part. On the back, we've got their funky screw-down case back. It looks very standard watch-like when you come around to the back of this one. And this one here, as you can see, we've got the similar arrangement, but we do have the twin pushers on there. And then, again, we have a typical, what would be normally a water-resistant style case back on there. I think they just look really cool. They are a little bit different. You can also get this model in a gold looking. Yeah, so you've got choices. As I say, you can get this one in the silver. You can also get it with a green LED or red LED. This one, you can get the gold or the silver model here. Overall, I think they're great. Obviously, the other big difference on these is the bracelet. You have a kind of Jubilee style bracelet on this one. And is it screwed? I'm going to presume it is. Oh, there you go. You shouldn't presume anything because it doesn't look like it is. But the adjustment being it has a butterfly clasp, and it is quite nice how I've done that. You've got the Hamilton going across there. The adjustment is going to be on these very small links. But as you can see, they are incredibly small, which means you have got quite a bit of adjustment on this model. And on this one, the bracelet is just funky. It is very retro cool. I like the fold over section here and how they've got the little Hamilton on there. Just got a little bit of the blue protective tape on there. It does seem really, really nice how they've done it. Now, let me show you on my wrist. Now, one thing I should say is the price. And I know a lot of people are going to go, like you're mad. But the prices of these, now remember, I'm talking the RIP price, not the price you would actually finally pay. This one is £980. This one is, I think, £695, I believe. But there is a minimal of 10% you'll get off these watches. Minimal. So, if you are thinking of buying one, don't be afraid to ask for some, a good discount. It is worth a try. They can only but say no. So anyway, let me put it on my wrist. Quick wrist check. I am wearing my first ever, what I consider proper freehand watch, an old Seiko SQ100. I have had this for donkey's years, literally. But I did have a similar kind of watch like this back in the day. And I remember showing everyone at school and pressing a button and it just wiped out in no time with the battery. Bob has got a very cool Satina chrono going on there, which I think is a kind of quite a cool looking watch actually. Now my wrist size is 7¼ inches, which equates to 18.5 centimeters. And let me just actually do this up so you got an idea actually how much actual bracelet you do have. As you can see, there is quite a bit of bracelet on there. And that one, it just looks cool. Yes, it is expensive. Yes, it doesn't do much when you compare it to something like a G-Shock. But it's cool. And as we all know, cool costs, can cost money. And this is what you're getting here. Now, the smaller one, let's put this on. I think that bracelet looks so retro cool. And clips on nicely there. You've got a bit of space, quite a bit of bracelet still. And that's that one on there. If you want a bit of nostalgia, you want something which is a bit cool and quirky, and you don't see many of these in the wild. it definitely could be a watch to go for. Oh, one other thing I should have mentioned about movement. It does have an end-of-life warning cycle on there, so you know when you need to change the battery. But anyway, I'm going to leave you to it, guys, with that. And most importantly, you guys stay safe and let me know what you think of this one. All the best and take care of yourselves. Bye.